Hey everybody, welcome back. Today is finally the day where I'm going to give my review on The Last of Us 2, and I finally beat it. I know it took me a while, but today I'm just going to give my honest thoughts about the game. Overall, I did enjoy my playthrough in the game. It was a beautiful game, but there's just like some critiques I got to make. And before we get into this, please just like and subscribe and leave a comment if you want to, and let's just dive straight in. First things first, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about the characters of the game. Of course, back from the first game, we start off with Joel and Ellie. After Joel had rescued Ellie, I covered this already in my first Last of Us video, and you get to meet a few of their friends and companions that help Ellie along on her journey, Dina and Jesse, and of course Tommy, Joel's brother, and you also the WLF, their militia group that fought off the Fedra and kind of annihilated them, and they rose up to the ranks. And their main one is Abby, who you also get to play as throughout the story. There's also a cult group that features Big Bertha, who's just like a juggernaut. I don't understand. And there's just like copy AI versions of her that just tank rifle bullets from close to point blank range. It doesn't make no sense. I also thought the infected dynamic was horrifying. Starting off with the runners, and then they turn into walkers, then they become clickers, and then shamblers, just shambling, bloaters, and then a boss, which is the first infected. So that's pretty much it for the main characters that you face and fight off in the game. Also, the WLF also have dogs, which is very interesting because they hunt you down, and they make fighting people a little bit harder. But in all honesty, I would much rather still fight people more than infected, because if you fight all the infected at once, you're gonna have your hands full, especially if you're getting jumped by a bunch of walkers and there's not a lot of runners. Then they're just gonna spam you. You're gonna have to run away. You can't sit there and fight. Moving on to gameplay. The gameplay was very smooth, but of course it had like its glitches, few minor glitches. Thankfully, no glitches that impeded my playthrough. Thankfully, because I've came across not loaded characters in the game that I'm supposed to meet up with at the end of the level, and they're just not there, so I can't complete the level, and then just like quitting the game because I don't feel like dealing with it. Luckily, I didn't have to face any of that. I did like the dodging, which is, like I said before in my first video, it's a little weird because your sprint button is your dodge button, but once you just play around with it, you get used to it over time. It's like a hit or miss. Sometimes you can't really predict when a person's going to lunge at you to hit you, but it's a very effective. You can even kind of juke bullets if people are trying to shoot you, which I found effective, especially against Seraphites, who they have the bows too. Also like the new prone. It made me feel very stealthy, how I could just duck in the grass and just crawl around, or if I felt like I wasn't in cover enough, I could just crouch. And you can also kind of crawl under things, which made gameplay more versatile and just gave you more options to like sneak up on enemies and avoid enemies if you didn't want to have a confrontation. The shooting mechanic is a little, I'd say, stiff at first. It takes you a while to get used to it, especially when you're fighting like an infected, and they're kind of fast because they're not just gonna try and walk up to you; they sprint after you. So, and especially clickers, if you're trying to get a headshot on them, they move their heads a lot. It's a lot of head shaking and screaming for them, which can make it a little difficult. You kind of gotta turn it. I also really hated the fake open worldness. Like, it's still very linear. It gives you a few options where you can go, and I just found myself roaming around into dead ends constantly. It got a little annoying and repetitive at some point in time. But I guess that's what you need to do. Like, you're gonna explore because you want to try and find everything you can, because all the loot that you can pick up. Moving on to the graphics. The graphics are beautiful. Is definitely one of the best looking games I've played so far in 2020. And what like they've done so, Naughty Dog has done so good, especially with all the Uncharted games. Even the Last of Us look beautiful. Just like the detail of gore, all the beautiful goriness. This one part, I blew up a clicker and it exploded. You could see it just splatter. And what got me was blood was on the ceiling and was like leaking down onto the floor. You could just see it, and then just the clicker trying to crawl around and just crushing the clicker's head. It's just so satisfying to watch. Nothing. Yeah, I was truly satisfied with the way the game looked. On to how you battle all these enemies, the weapons. I like the weapons arsenal, and depending on who you play as, either Ellie or Abby, you have like they have the same group of weapons, but they're just a little different. Like, they both start off with a pistol. Abby's is like a military grade pistol, but there's not really a lot of difference between the two. They both get a rifle, but Abby's is better because it's semi-automatic, and you can also the upgrades in this game are great. With the semi-automatic rifle, you can get a 3-round burst, and you can put a scope on it. With Ellie's, I found myself really just upgrading the damage and putting a scope on it. That's about all I really needed. And later on, Ellie gets a revolver, and Abby gets a sniper pistol, which I think they're kind of even, because the sniper pistol is just a one shot, but like, it's a literal one shot. If you hit somebody, they're pretty much dead, but you have to reload right after. And the revolver does great damage when you upgrade the damage to it. So it's not a bad gun, and you also find a lot of ammo for that gun. They both get a shotgun, but Abby gets the double barrel shotgun, which once you rate it so you reload faster, it's one of my favorite guns in the game. I think both the shotgun for Ellie and Abby are both one of the best guns you're going to get for either. Both of them. Definitely upgrade that gun when you play through it. Ellie, of course, she gets the bow and arrow, and you can get explosive arrows later on in the game once you get it, which are very effective. I love the explosive arrows. Definitely one of my favorite weapons. And Abby gets a crossbow, which kind of sucks because you can't craft ammo for it. Like, Ellie can craft explosive arrows and just regular arrows for the bow.
Thank you.
And lastly, Abby gets a flamethrower, which I like that they brought the flamethrower back from the first game. And Ellie gets a silenced submachine gun, which works very well. And either of them you can upgrade. Another difference for weapons, Abby can craft both shotgun ammo and ammo for the sniper pistol, which is it makes it a little easier because you don't always have to rely on picking up ammo, because you might not always find ammo. It comes in handy for you just being able to craft it on the spot. And she can also craft incendiary ammo for the shotgun, which is very effective against bloaters, clickers, any of it infected. And lastly, to touch on the story, because when you play a Naughty Dog game, you're really looking for the story, because the graphics are going to be there, the gameplay are going to be there. And I'd say this is where the game really struggles. It starts off perfectly. Unfortunately, you lost Joel in the beginning of the game, which was sad, and it then forces you to play with Abby, Joel's killer, which was very conflicting in the beginning. Like, why are you trying to get me to build empathy for the person I just killed, the main character from the first game? But you begin to just learn about Joel and Ellie's torn relationship, about how Joel didn't tell Ellie that he killed all the fireflies to rescue her and stop the operation to cure the infection.
It's okay.
No, he didn't tell her that. Ellie found out on her own, and she just resented him for it for a while. And I think that's another reason why she was so mad at Abby for killing him, because she never truly got a chance to forgive him. Their bond was really just healing. And when you think about it, honestly, Joel was kind of an asshole for real. Because, if you were in the Last of Us universe, and this man really messed up the only option of a cure, you would want him dead too. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. I love Joel myself. I was there for the ride in the first game. Murdering all the fireflies and, just rescuing Ellie. In this game, you really just fight. You really just find out the consequences of Joel's actions. In all honesty, I feel like Abby's playthrough is a little bit better than Ellie's playthrough, because Abby's just a freak of nature. She's really just that berserker of a dude that she wanted to play as, but just in a woman's body. She's really just bristling everybody. She has an upgrade that she can get for her called momentum. Basically, the more she punches you in the face, the stronger she gets. The story really kind of just shows Ellie's downfall for her quest for revenge. And this is the thing. Playing as Abby, I started to get some more empathy kind of for her, just seeing that she's not really like a bad person. She really had a better reason for killing Joel than Abby for killing her. And then the ending was just fuel to the fire, where it really just makes the game plummet. The ending was not good. It definitely was not the best ending that you could get. You could just see Ellie kind of turning into the villain at the end. But it kind of leaves you when she doesn't. I'm sorry, big spoilers here. I don't know if you didn't play the game, you might as well just shut it off now. But anyways, Ellie didn't kill Abby at the end of the game. Despite all that, which I'm happy she didn't kill Abby at the end of the game, because Abby really showed her mercy twice. In the boss battle where you play as Abby to beat Ellie, she could have killed her right there. And she shows her mercy twice. Ellie did not deserve the right to kill Abby at that point in time. She really got her tail beat by a skinty, malnourished, dehydrated Abby, and almost lost. Abby is really just the epitome of a badass. She is truly the survivor of all survivors in this game. She really broke down the squad. At the end, it's really just a quest of revenge that wasn't even truly thought through. At the end, Ellie has Abby and almost drowns her, but then just lets her go. I really just wanted those two to be friends. Just imagine their love life together. Ellie in Abby's big, strong, manly arms. But that will never happen. It'll never happen. But at the end, my final verdict, I thought long and hard about it. I'll give it a 7. What really saves it is like the gameplay, and I would definitely play it over again. Instead of playing on hard mode, I would definitely play it either on New Game Plus or Expert mode, because I would platinum this game. I will play it again. It's not a bad game. it's just the ending just leaves you kind of like, why just make it to the end just for this? It was not a satisfying ending at all. It's the ending that kind of breaks the game, and a little bit of how the story was told. It waits to the very end of the game to tell you about what happened with Ellie and Joel, and seeing their relationship begin to heal. It's And of course, like, killing off Joel was like a backstabber, but of course you kind of could see that coming. We all were questioning, was Joel going to be alive in the next game, which, you know, well, he was alive briefly, but died in like the first 3 hours of the game. Well, 2 hours of the game. I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a solid 7. I'm not gonna. It was. Did it live up to the hype and The Last of Us? Not really, but it still was a good game. It played fun. Don't 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 not play the game. I definitely recommend the game. You'll enjoy your playthrough. It's beautiful. It's gory. It's kind of scary. It shows you the tension, especially being hunted by Seraphites and WLF members, and having and being stalked by infected. It's definitely a fun run. So I hope you all enjoyed my Last of Us review. Once again, I definitely recommend you all play it. And please make sure you subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.